Hello Flickering Myth family and welcome to our channel. My name is EJ and we have yet another horror film to talk about. This year has been jam-packed and Blumhouse is trying once again to see if they can land a great horror film. Do they have it? Is it okay? Is this remake worthwhile? We are going to be talking about Speak No Evil. When you decide to remake a movie that came out only like 2 years ago, it's going to give me a moment of pause. I'm going to go, is this even worth doing? What is the point? While I think the original Danish, Speak No Evil, is still a stronger film, I have to say I quite enjoy this movie, and I think this is a great introduction into more heavier concepts for American film goers. I don't think the average horror fan is used to a movie like the original Speak No Evil, not See No Evil. We're not talking about the Kane slasher movie. The original Speak No Evil is a bit more brutal. I think it's rude, crude, and in your face. Definitely has a premise that takes a lot to digest. This movie takes the very similar concept, actually the same exact concept, but filters it in a way that feels almost more digestible. The little small details that change throughout don't really hurt anything, and when this movie decides to go for a more what I will call American style ending, I definitely think it works for the context of this film. Watching the audience that I watched this with, I don't think this movie could have had any other ending than what they gave us. This just works on a lot of different levels. It could be James Watkins as a filmmaker who I thought he was really interesting with Eden Lake, and then Woman in Black was a movie I didn't love as much. This feels right in the middle of that. It has a classic horror build, structure, atmosphere to it, but it has a brutality, a way of dealing with human interaction, especially between two couples, in a very tense, morbid, weird way. I just love what this movie conjured up. I actually loved watching this with a packed house, minus the one person who was narrating the whole movie like, I hope she doesn't do that. I hope he doesn't do that. Girl, shut up. You know those people you sit to during a horror film, but that almost adds to the experience. This was like a community experience. When someone did a stupid decision, we all went, no, I can't believe that. It's so cool. I was surprised to see this movie get such a reaction out of the audience. I was expecting a lot of the typical kind of, we'll cheer at the end of a movie, but people were genuinely hooked on what it was. I think what happens is this movie is a masterclass of cringe. You are so awkward, so uncomfortable throughout the entire ride that you are almost like you are another person. Let's say I feel like you're another couple in this situation. There is the two main couples that we're dealing with, and you are the additional one going, oh, I don't want to be here. You know when like you used to be a kid when you were younger, and your parents you would go to a friend's house and their parents would start fighting. That's what this felt like. I was just like, oh, I don't want to be here. Can I leave? Like, I love that tension, that cringe that came from this, and it just worked so well to make this one of my favorite horror films I've seen this year, and honestly the best Blumhouse movie of 2024. Speak No Evil sees two couples, Ben and Luis, and Patty and Clara. They are couples that meet each other in Italy, and then Patty and his wife invite Ben and Luis over for a fun weekend. Ben and Luis are dealing with their own marital strife. They also have a young daughter who is just trying to become detached to her like security blanket, a little bunny rabbit doll. The other family, well, Patty and Clara have a son who is not able to speak. And yeah, they seemingly are a normal couple until you get to their house, and one of, Miss Louise is a vegetarian, and they're kind of forcing her to eat meat. There's a lot of weird kind of swinger energy between them, and you're just like, this is cringy, this is awkward. But the young boy who is, the mute child is starting to give signs to the other daughter, just saying, hey, something's going on here, and then we start seeing the mystery unravel. If you have not seen the original film or have not seen this yet, I do not want to spoil this. I want you to go in fresh and kind of raw, like a lot of people are going to get to. So that's kind of the plot summary I'm going to get. We're seeing two couples deal with this awkward moment that they put themselves in, and it gets darker and more twisted throughout. I absolutely have to point out some of the amazing performances in this movie. James McAvoy has been major selling point for all of this, and James McAvoy eats this movie up. I was constantly impressed with his scariness, his awkwardness, his cringe factor, his adorable factor. Everything here that makes James McAvoy a interesting figure in pop culture, he brings to this character. I hated Patty with all of my heart, but I also loved watching him be crazy. And then he claps back at people in ways that I'm like, you're a psychopath, but you're not wrong. I absolutely love him. And the other performance I have to just like point out, I think everyone does well. The couples are very evenly matched with their kind of dynamics, but Mackenzie Davis, you may know her from the Terminator film that came out a couple years ago. She's an interesting figure. I thought she was going to kind of poof away after Terminator. Wow, I am happy she is here. She is this badass character that badass nature takes a bit to come through. What I like about this movie is it's very real. You know, you expect people, well, I would do this in the scenario. The movie definitely kind of challenges your perspective of, well, would I do that? How would I react? What would my feelings? Would I be able to defend myself? Blah, blah, blah. All of those kind of feelings and emotions that kind of run through your head as a person watching a horror film, the movie addresses it very well. And I think Mackenzie Davis's Louise character is just this great figure, and she really works well with making me feel like I am her. She's easy to kind of fall into, where her husband's character is a bit kind of insufferable at times, and he makes decisions that are stupid. But again, you kind of have to have stupid decision making in a horror movie. If everyone was smart and acted like a normal person, the movie would be over in 35 minutes, because I would have never went to this house for the weekend because I'm not dumb. Y'all are giving me the ick. Anyways, yeah, I like the structure of this. I think the couples work well, and I really think this is worthwhile to watch. Just James McAvoy and Mackenzie Davis try to go to 11 each other. They're both at an 11 at times, and it is so magically delicious to watch. One of my major hesitations going into this movie, as I said, was the remake that wasn't too long ago, and this kind of starts a conversation of, is this one of the best Americanized films we've ever seen? We've seen this kind of happen throughout time. I mean, I remember when I saw Ringu, and then I saw The Ring. I remember seeing these kind of foreign horror films like Martyrs in 2008, and then the god-awful remake that they did in the American version. This happens. Oldboy had remakes as well. So it's confusing, because I often want to go, the original is better, but I will say Speak No Evil made a quite an interesting case as one of the best Americanized versions of a foreign horror film. There is different sensibilities, different things scare us, different things make us uncomfortable, but this movie found what worked well in the original one and kind of filtered it through a almost American lens. I really felt myself being able to relate and understand the scenarios, and I think my audience did as well. I don't know if they would connect with the original Danish film as much, because again, social customs, social cues, those are a bit different as you go throughout the world. So I will say I don't think this movie surpasses the original by any means, but I think it's worthwhile, and I definitely think it makes a good conversation for sometimes an Americanized film can work and is needed. Do I think we often should go find the original? I still think to this time, go watch the original Speak No Evil. There's changes there that make it, you know, if you see both, they both like a complete watching experience. But overall, I will say, go watch the original, but this isn't, I don't want to be one of those horror fans that's anti-remakes. I've never been that way, and anti-Americanized versions. I think there's, again, the bad examples. I truly think that Martyrs, I think, was it 2015 it came out, is one of the worst movies, like, bar none, horrible, awful, where always go watch the original Martyrs. But I can understand that original Martyrs may not work for everyone. It may, you know, there's certain social cues, like I said, or certain things that people find scary. I find that often with Japanese cinema. People in Japan are often grossed out or scared by much different things than we are here, so I can see Americanized stuff working in that way, and I do think this film works and stands on its own two legs. Do I think this could have worked without no original film? Absolutely, and I think that's why this Speak No Evil, to me, might be one of the best Americanized remakes we've ever got. Alright everyone, that is it for my review of Speak No Evil. This has been quite a year for horror films. We're not over yet. We still have Terrifier. We still have a couple more sprinklings throughout the year. But overall, what a fun time we've had. And movies like this kind of keep it up. Blumhouse, where have you been? We've had Imaginaries, you know, what was it? What was that one? Oh my god, Night Swim? I didn't even hate Night Swim, but this is the Blumhouse we need. It's forward-thinking, thought-provoking, scary, sexy, weird, cringy, awesome. All of that mixed together makes this one of the best horror films I've seen this year. Definitely keep an eye out for it. Watch the original still, please. Go out of your way to see that as well. It is important to see the original, but also to not just blacklist or ignore a Americanized version just because it exists. This is definitely a film I highly advise watching. Alright guys, what did you think of my review? What do you think of Speak No Evil? Share your thoughts down in the comments below. What do you think of Americanized horror films? Do you feel that they are pointless? Do you like them? What's your favorite one? Let me know down in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy. Alright everyone, let's talk about movies, horror films right down below.